Here's my open letter to Bob Boyer. Dear Bob, your smallpox blanket hangs in committee room 1, and when the meeting goes on for hours because someone doesn't want those people in their backyard, I swear you planned this all along, sending those blankets back to where they came from. They're only painted circles. Blue for spirit, rose for what the flesh endures, not so far from what we wear now. And it is strange magic, the way we're made of maps. Photographs of wartime houses from 100 miles up, arterials and grids, a municipal diction. The CPR main line cutting the town in half as if someone dragged a saber on the ground. Pull back further, and we disappear into the plain, the dry canals and craters, and the dim haze of something burning. Name it thing, and that's what it becomes. Like Walsh Acres. Sounds like wall shakers for clapboard bungalows thrown up in a field when the Mounties weren't looking. Or Hillsdale, so named after Fred Hill, though no one remembers the aging scion feeding a boomtime need, a memory now as his sons look south from twin glass towers sunk into the earth and the creaking bones of history. Or Wascana, Cree name for the creek that seeps from the marsh this side of Royston, meandering southeast to northwest, a crooked arrow to the heart of the city, then dropping through coulees, as light-stepping coyotes yip and touch their noses to the ground. White-belled hop flowers ladder the banks and grow up into the trees. Carp nudge the wall of the PFRA dam downstream. Then it continues into the Qu'Appelle flowing east, Kisa Saskatchewani, past silent pipestone quarries, into the Assiniboia, a ribbon crossing the black earth bed of old Lake Agassiz, splitting north to Lake Winnipeg or south to the Red and the Mississippi, past Natchez and Choctaw homelands, into the world's water, into the Gulf. Deer and the occasional moose followed the creek into town, lured by a feast of fat-watered grasses and fences propping up boughs, a burden of apples. The name Wascana has been taken over these days by cul-de-sacs. Wascana View, Wascana East, Wascana Heights. No one knows where they came from, with their double garages, RVs, and barbecues. Their greenways and artificial lakes repeated like pixels. It's nice, the kids say, but easy to get lost. Each row of houses pushes back grain fields. Not a true wilderness, just one monoculture sliding over another. We have big city dreams, but it's like going to a dance in your uncle's suit. Sometimes it just doesn't fit. And it's easy to say inner city at meetings in Toronto when 10,000 people live on the streets. Just as many IV users in East Vancouver, a place not much bigger than here. But McLean says it sells magazines. If you wanted a poor man's map of Regina, you'd start up a combine with a mile-wide swath around the west side of town, keep going east for 2 miles until you hit McDonald's, stop for lunch, and that would be your StatsCan map. And Bob, it's funny how the names in that swath would fall. Dieppe, McNabb, North Central. Though kids there call it the Hood after a movie no one remembers, but lacking a story they know of, they've made it their own, like the Hills. Or worse, it could mean it's nobody's home. Then slice off a piece of Regent Park, not Toronto's infamous flop, now in rehab, but strictly blue collar. Then Coronation Park, northeast, where Métis mow their lawns and gather in school gyms under a banner, blue ribbon stitched to a wavering sky. then Glen Elm, Eastview, and Core. There are no vistas or lakes to view here, just immigrants, and Assiniboines, Nakota, and Cree, 2 generations off the reserve, couch surfing kids and seniors stuck between neighbors who keep changing, drum circles and Chinese apothecaries, the Ukrainian co-op, Oscar's Deli, a needle-strewn art park, missing kids, a casino, the Hallowed Park of the Regina Riot and Manifesto over which birds, swans, and geese safely migrate, a Serbian church, and the chicken wire run of Jim Elliott's backyard where he teaches snowy owls to want to fly again. And the names beneath maps, the ones we take into ourselves when all we want to do is make art in a way that has nothing to do with someone else's mythology, when all we want to do is love the place that is here, give it its true name, and simply by refusing to leave, wrap ourselves in the thing that we are.